Well, hello and welcome back for day 2 of our new daily habits, 31 days to get unstuck. Let's talk about your goals. If you're here today, first of all, you are the person who truly commits. Let's see how long you can stick with this. Please don't be that person that starts and then completely lets other things become a priority, and then you just simply fall off. You lose steam, you lose momentum, and you just fall right back into the same habits. I noticed with our last series that we did with our team daily grind, a ton of you were tuned in for day 1, a ton of you were tuned in for day 2, with a ton of downloads, and then slowly, day by day, it died off. That is because people do not stick to things. They don't stick to their goals. But I know you are different, and that's why we are friends. So be the person that's here on day 31, because I promise you are going to be so freaking proud of yourself. And the people that do complete the entire #GetUnstuck grind, it's crazy how many texts and messages I get of how it was the beginning of something that just completely propelled them forward, transformed their way of thinking, and completely transformed their life. So you've got this. You are here for day 2, and I'm so stinking proud of you. So yesterday we talked about your decision, right? You decided to be here. Your decision to change something in your life and your big, super cool goal at the end of these 31 days. You probably thought about different little goals and things that you want to touch on in your life, and maybe some things that you just aren't super satisfied with in your current moment, or things that you're just super frustrated with, things that simply have to change, right? And my goal is to get you from where you are right now to where you want to be and figure out how to bridge that gap, right? So we're going to do this together. I have you. I have got your back. So today, I'm going to talk about the way I accomplish some things and the way that I have to chunk things down to avoid complete overwhelm and try to be less stressed about things. I suffer with anxiety. You probably know this about me already. We just finished up our Confidence Clubhouse, and we talked about anxiety and panic attacks and things. If you haven't listened to those podcasts, I encourage you to go back and listen to the full series of the Confidence Clubhouse. It's an amazing series, especially if you deal with overwhelm and stress or any form of anxiety. But I had to learn a way to chunk things together, chunk it down, make it in bite-sized pieces, and I ended up coming up with these little bubbles, right? So the way that I write out a daily to-do list, as you'll learn, I learned to kind of make this bubble system where I pop the bubble, right? So I just thought of it instead of like this big overwhelming to-do list that ran for my whole notebook of, 50 lines. I was like, this is just overwhelming. And it's very common that people get overwhelmed like that, and then they just kind of toss it aside and they're like, there's no way. Like most people like me years ago would make a huge list that's completely overwhelming and just feel completely defeated before even getting started. So if you analyze that to-do list, you'll find that it's usually based off of things that may not even be in alignment with things that you need and or want. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but they might be the demands of everybody else, all the people around you. Let's just talk real for a minute. Like the worst feeling in the world, one of them, are for the people who get to the end of the year and they think, well, maybe next year will be better. I don't really know what I've accomplished at all this year. Like, that is a horrible place to be. That is a horrible feeling. If you look back on your year and you feel like it's been exactly like all the prior years, how are you growing? How are you reaching beyond your limits? Now, I hope you can make this shift because it has changed my life dramatically. And it's the way I plan out my own day. And it's the reason I created the Unleashed Journal. And also the Unleashed Bubble Journal. There's 2 different journals, 4 different covers. But when I reflect back to yesterday, when we talked about that main goal on day 1 of the podcast, you know, the thing that you want the most in the next 31 days? I know that goal can be a teeny tiny piece of something else that moves you forward for like a longer goal, a goal that's further out, like a bigger goal. But if it's just something like start a blog, start that workout, start a new business or a side hustle, make some extra money for Christmas maybe. I know a lot of people try to bring in some extra income for Christmas. Lose maybe the first 5 pounds of blank amount of pounds. I'm here for you. And we can do all of that, okay? All of it. But what I would like for you to write out is not just one goal, but maybe 5 to 9 other goals on top of that goal. So all in all, you'll have a set of 6 to 10 goals for this month. I think that's manageable. I know it's doable. And I think that we should go ahead and write those down. So this is actually what I do at the beginning of every single month. And if you want to go with this like 7 to 10 goals, if that's kind of where you're at, if you come up with 7 to 10 goals, I would encourage you to get the Black Unleashed Journal. It's the one that you would need for that. And if you go to the up to 6 goals or less, you'll want the Pink Bubble Unleashed Journal. I'll drop that link in the comments below if you're interested in grabbing an Unleashed Journal. You can find it on Amazon too, but I write out my 10 goals, large or small. Sometimes it's as simple as just, read 10 pages of a new book each week. Meaning like have one book of the month and then read 10 pages of that book every week. Or I would like to press play on my workouts and go in my studio and do my workout. I'm going to sweat or stretch every single day, right? We say that all the time in our check-in on our private Facebook group. I'm getting tongue-tied. Those little things I write out every single day. So what are your top 6 to 10 goals this month? Have you thought about that yet? You should have. And what I think would be super cool, and that is why I love doing these team podcasts, is you guys can actually use the comments below, either below the podcast or below the video or wherever you're finding this in our private Facebook group, and write out some goals that maybe you guys can sort of like feed off of each other and get some ideas from each other. I think that would be super cool. I know I was part of a mastermind that did that, and it was just so helpful to bounce off of other people, other like-minded people. So step 1 is not the one big goal, but 5 to 9 other goals. So you end up with 6 or 10 goals to start for this month, for this series, for this project. So let's say you have set 10 goals for the next 31 days. It's just an easy number to work with. So from here on out, I'll probably refer to it as your 10 goals. And the way to eliminate the overwhelm is to pretend each goal is one little bubble. And every single day, you're going to reiterate each bubble. So you're going to rewrite these bubble goals every single day to remind yourself what you're working toward. Like, this is where I'm at on this goal, and this is where I'm at on this goal. And you can like put little marks in your bubbles or whatever works for you. Everybody's brain works a little different, but this is the way that we chunk it out, right? This way you don't get to the end of the week or the month or the year and think, I am nowhere near where I want to be. Like, that's the worst feeling. We talked about that. The reason why your daily to-dos might be so overwhelming for you is a lot of the times, as I briefly mentioned earlier, it could be that to-do list is someone else's goals. Like, it could be your boss's goals and what they want for you, or maybe it's your kids' goals or your grandkids' goals. And that's way super cool, awesome, right? But you've got to do some stuff for you. And the more you thrive, the more they will thrive. So if you were to write out your top to-do list for today, and then I want you to look at it, and I want you to eliminate anything that's not serving you and your goals and your dreams. And for every top 10 goal, right, you're going to rewrite those every day, your top 10 bubbles. I want you to grab your top 3 things to do that will move you in the direction of those 10 goals every single day. So that way now, every day, you've only got 3 things to focus on the most, 3 needle moving things, 3 things that are actually going to move the needle. They're not going to be just like random things. Like, up until now, you probably just made a to-do list and it might have been kind of random, right? I want you to focus on your goals. I want you to stay using your bubble goals. Keep it in check. And check it off every day, every little bit that you do. Even if you have to draw one of those thermometers, right? And you color it in as you go, whatever works for you. But you've got to put pen to paper. If you don't put pen to paper, it's just a thought. And you know what happens to a thought? It's there for a moment, and it goes way to the back of the brain, and all the other things come in front of the thought, and then it's no longer there. It's no longer going to happen. Not now, anyway. That's procrastination. And procrastination leads to just not ever reaching those goals. So your main goal every day, I want you to rewrite it. Rewrite the top 10 every day, and then come up with your top 3 tasks, your top 3 needle movers every single day. That's it, you guys. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.